Blog Talk Radio.
How's that for professional?
I'm blown away. Blown away.
Carl, are you here, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what that was.
Well, that was our intro, buddy.
I like it a lot.
Well, welcome to the first Retro Renaissance podcast. If at any point you'd like to call in, you can call in on a regular telephone on 001, that's the States, 718-664-9265. Alternatively, if you add me on Skype at shank.troll, I can add you to the call, so please feel free to come in with your views. Saying that, I doubt anybody will. So, with that, alone the phone thing, maybe I might get Laura to try it. Laura, do you fancy calling an American number to call into the show? You've got to get your heckles in somehow, love. I'm live on the internet. I know what you think. No? Not tonight. She's ill. She's having an off night from heckling. Right. So, someone's got feedback. Right. So, tonight on the Retro Renaissance podcast, which will be available on iTunes through the Retro Unlim Radio Network, I know, amazing. Tom doesn't have to do it. I'll even be sticking it up on a YouTube channel so he doesn't have to do that. We're going to be chatting about violence in video games and how that can desensitize. That Laura's already thinking about going to play GTA so she can bludgeon me over the head with a hammer. Whose phone's going off? Can we stop?
That's mine. I'll move it out of the way. My apologies.
Alright. Listen, so violence in video games. And this all came about because of actually a video that you did, Carl, about children and violent video games. Because now, this isn't Carl's a bad parent talk here, but he, just to run through it, you allow Isabella to play GTA with the sound off.
Yeah.
And so she can drive around the city and so forth. And at first you thought it was quite innocent. But then you saw her at one point go into a shop, buy a hammer, go outside and bludgeon someone to death.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And I see nothing wrong with this. No, I think it's something we brought up this week, and I just think much. I think it's more of a times have changed. I mean, in the simple way of, I'm sure that, when you were younger, you played Mortal Kombat like I did, and Resident Evil, things like that, when obviously you were old enough to play them. And I think everyone that I know played Resident Evil and whatnot, the survival horror games, and they used to come up with a warning, didn't they? This game contains explicit scenes and gore. It'd come up warning you that what you're about to see. Yeah, so, I mean, you don't see that now. You don't get those kind of warnings now, but back then you did. And I just think times have changed. I think, it's never affected me. It's just a video game. And my point was that I think that for it to affect you, kids playing video games, you've got to be a bit not sane in the head. I would imagine to like to go out and go and knife somebody to death because you've seen it in a video game. I just think too much is made of it. And somebody else said that you can see. And because it's a video game and it is pretend and it's just a form of entertainment, you can turn the 6 o'clock news on, you can see a lot of, gunfire and everything that you can see in war that's going on today. At 6 o'clock, when when kids are having the tea and whatnot. But video games, it's just, it's like a sin. So I think too much is made of it. I let Isabella play him just because, I wouldn't have the sound on, because obviously there's swearing and whatnot. And I wouldn't let her play GTA 5 because I think that's a bit too, you've got the sex element in there. I know you've got it with the other GTAs, we can pick up a prostitute and that, but she doesn't know that. She doesn't know that. She just drives around, shooting people, granted. But like I say, she's not going to go and do it. It's a video game. I think she knows the difference between a video game. I don't actually think that she actually understands that shooting people in real life goes on. I don't think that crosses her mind. I think she's just seen that in the video game. But yeah, that's my initial thoughts on it.
So, you're okay with her playing on? My dog's yapping. Something's going on. You're okay with that? I better get a gun and shoot it. You're okay with her playing on GTA at the moment?
Yeah, because it's a video game. It's pure and simple. It's a video game. It's no different to, like I said in one of my videos that I did on YouTube, I held up the Lego City game. The Lego City game is kind of a similar thing without the blood. You can still punch people and things like that, or even if you're playing Simpsons Hit and Run, you're still punching somebody in there. You can still punch people, and yet it's Simpsons.
And that's I've got Lego City, and that's a 7+ game, isn't it? So it's not it's not as like an 18, which obviously the GTA games all are. So all those themes of violence and all that kind of stuff aren't necessarily in the GTA, but they are in Lego City. But they are to a lesser extent, I guess, because you're still doing bad stuff to people, aren't you? You're still messing around.
Yeah, the other thing in Lego City, this is just an example. You can change your character to be a robber, right? So I guess this is where 7 years old comes in. So Isabella's walking around, with a crowbar, going into shops robbing people, or going into a jewelry store robbing it, because it's part of the story. Is that, we're talking about violence. What does that teach you as a kid? And this is a Lego game, so they put their age rating on it.
As long as she goes into game shops and does that, it's fine. You get a few Bobby Dazzlers.
Well, that's what I've told her. But she's not come back with anything. So like I say, it's think about movies. Think about, I know this is about games, but if you think about movies and how bad they were back then, take The Exorcist that was banned. You watch that now, it's quite laughable, really. It's quite funny at how bad that is, that that it wasn't that graphic as what you get now.
The Exorcist was banned on the.
It's the holy thing as well. Is it the religion thing? I know.
Well, not just that, but the idea that I'm trying to get me words right here. It had never been done before. Is what I'm trying to say.
No.
Well, so it was the precursor to psychological stuff. Before Alien or anything like that. So it's an interesting one though, because you consider about the stuff that's out and about now, and it's kind of tame, really.
Exactly, yeah. That's the thing, you see. Times have changed, and I just think if you don't allow I know you don't allow your son and your daughter to, or your son in particular, to play these type of games, but I would understand in your position with your son and what the condition he's got. But like I said, I think it's one of these topics where everybody is right, depending on how you want it. There's nobody that can be wrong. It's depending on how you want to bring up
son or daughter.
Exactly.
What was the first violent video game you played, would you say?
Mine? I think the only, like I said, the one that really, really springs to mind, or two, were that were like, oof, this is a bit, this is a bit tasty. Yeah, what was Resident Evil and Silent Hill? Because I don't think anything like that had been done before, as graphic like that. But yeah.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because on the one hand, I don't want Nathan to feel like I'm censoring him with this stuff, but on the other, I'm like, come on, there's no way in hell he should be playing these games, and so for me, Nathan has to people who are perhaps on the Retro Unlimited network don't know the stories or the background. Nathan has Asperger's, so I don't want him to get into some routines very easily, and I don't want him to get into a routine where he's playing violent video games over and over and over and over and over. I just don't think it's okay. And the same, and I think I said this in my video response to you, Cole. I don't like, me and Laura, neither of us like the Hello Kitty Barbie stuff, because it's just absolute vapid trash, where Barbie goes out and oh hey, let's go and see the boys, blah 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 blah, and you're like, that really? Come on.
That's my favourite video game.
So this is the TV show we're talking about. So yeah, we do censor that for them.
You see, isn't that real life? Wouldn't you say that's just real life?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I want it to be.
I want it to be a plastic pink sacker and nightmare.
What about you, Tom? What was your first experience of violent video games?
I was thinking about this earlier today. The earliest, God's honest memory I've got of seeing anything violent in a video game and being sort of freaked out, or I guess like scared by it, because when you're a kid, you get easily scared by stuff. There's a game called Moonstone on the Amiga. Anybody remember that?
No, I don't. No.
It was basically, you were a knight. It was kind of medieval England. All I can remember is there was an overworld map, and you travelled to different places and different knights, but you could hack each other's body parts off, and kind of like sort of pre-Mortal Kombat, you could sort of do like a kind of fatality move, where if you got the knight on the knees, you could lop their heads off, and like this kind of pixelated blood would squirt out, and it used to freak the shit out of me, but I loved it. And that's, I should think that's my earliest memory of it, because everything before that was kind of sort of, well, it was Spectrum, so you really had to use your imagination.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's, I mean, even Mortal Kombat, didn't it? That's just a fighting game, and that caused a whole uproar, didn't it? Just because the very fact that it had blood in it, which you could turn green, couldn't you?
The fatalities in particular were particularly gory and caused a lot of ire in the American Congress.
It was unfortunate that around the time that Mortal Kombat come out, it kind of got mixed up and tied in with a lot of the games that people had sort of jumped up in arms about, because some retards kicked off somewhere about Night Trap and Mortal Kombat, and Sega kind of got put on trial for it. Well, Sega and Nintendo kind of got put on trial for it, and that was where Nintendo kind of threw Sega under the bus by saying there's no blood in our Mortal Kombat, and we put stickers on the front of the box saying this is not for children. But yeah, I don't know who should have won that argument.
And that's the thing, isn't it? I think back then, when if you play video games, then it's childish. Where today it's just every household has got a console, haven't they? Most of them, I would say.
Oh yeah.
So back then, like Mortal Kombat, this is because only kids play video games.
And if they've not got, let's just make it clear, if they've not got a console, everyone's got an iPad or an iPhone or find a device where they can play games. You know,
Yeah.
unless you're Amish.
Yeah.
I suppose that would be the one sort of. But even they can take a couple of years off, can't they? Where before they go into it full time, they can take a couple of years off before they become men. So around 18, they can take a couple of years off and do whatever they want. So even the Amish play GTA. But do you know? I think my first time, or the first what you consider violent, but I did laughable was Doom, probably. And the Doom raised a lot of hackles as well because one of the guys who committed that tragedy, the mass killings in Columbine, built a Doom map about his, or based on his school.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it was linked into all kinds of horrendous bullshit. And of course, after that, I played various questionable games, I suppose you'd say. Stuff like Manhunt and various other ones. I'm trying to think of a few. I played the first GTA game, and the first GTA game, because it was top-down and it was so pixelated, kind of got away with a lot. And I think realistically, if people had looked at it a bit more clever, then it might not have got away with so much.
Well, that was still an 18 though, wasn't it? The content was the same, wasn't it? The content was the same. Obviously, it's just graphically wasn't all that what we have today.
Mm.
But I mean, that's the other thing, isn't it? Again, that I mentioned this as well. That he said, you know, if there's a story in the paper tomorrow, I don't know, local guy butchers his dog with a machete or something, and it's revealed love to play bloody video games every day. That'll get blamed on video games, not the fact that the guy's obviously a mentalist because he's hacked his dog to death.
Yeah, it's kind of taken away from the key issue here, which is why did he do that? You know, what's the reasoning behind that?
You know, but it's everything. It's just so it's jumped on these days, absolutely jumped on. And the thing is, though, do you not think that most kids not most kids, because I mean my daughter's 4 years old and I'm letting her play Grand Theft Auto, but I know what she's I say you can't watch her all the time, but you know she's mostly driving around and stealing another car. You know, I don't think she's going to go and steal a car, by the way, but
if she does, make sure it's a decent one.
Yeah, that's what I've told her. But no, but the age ratings on games as well, I think. You know, just because it's an 18, like I think James said this, Monkey Spaz in his response, which is, you know, it got me to thinking as well, is that if it is an 18, and your son or daughter is 16, are you going to let them play it? And I think the answer in most part will be yes for everyone. So how different would that be from, say, an 8-year-old with a 15 game? Why, if it's acceptable just because it's close to the age, well, it's still not the age. So it proves that the age ratings on games and whatnot just really doesn't matter. It's just a guide, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you talk to anybody that works in a video game store, and like they'll tell you that most parents do not give a ton of fuck about what age certificate is on the box. Like they just don't care. It's a video game.
Plus, as long as it keeps quiet, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, it's a sad truth, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
it is. You know, we as much as you try and limit time on it and stuff like that, it's difficult, you know.
It's true, and not to sort of say like the buck must stop there, but I think a lot of it does kind of rest solely on the parents. Like it's down to you to sort of make the decision as to whether your like son or daughter can like has that grasp on reality that they can sort of, you know, they understand the separation between sort of fantasy, like, you know, kind of fiction and real life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something along the same lines of I've said that. I mean, only the parents of the child that we're talking about would ever know best.
Exactly.
You know your own child, and And I just want to say this as well for the listeners here. My daughter just doesn't play violent games. She's, Mario 3D World. She's on all that. You know what I mean? It's not. It's just one of those things that she puts on like for a quick blast or something like that. And it's not her game of choice by any means. You know, she's always on the Nintendo DS. But you know, if I'm on the Wii U or whatever, then the Vita's free. Then she'll jump on the Vita because that's the only game that she knows that's on there that she can play. So it's as simple as that, really.
I mean, I don't know. I could say when I was a kid, like, I would fantasize a lot. Like, if depending on what movie I watched. Like, if I watched RoboCop, then I was RoboCop for a week. If I watched a James Bond film, then I was James Bond for a week. Like, but it didn't mean I was actually going to go out and try and do any of those things.
No, I think that. Yeah, see, that's the thing, isn't it? That's what all kids do. When I was the same, Indiana Jones. You know,
yeah,
you're Indiana Jones. He's pretty cool. Or you're a Ghostbuster, whatever it is. It's what kids do, isn't it? And
I had the proton pack.
Oh, there you go. Jealous. That'd be worth something these days.
Yeah, I think I've still got the Geiger counter somewhere as well.
Yeah, it's a good topic. It's a good one that, like I say, everybody's right on. But I don't know. To be, I think anyone who disagrees with me, like, letting your 4-year-old play, well, it's quite, I don't know. Well, what do you think about that then, Chris? I mean, you obviously you disagree with me, but
no, I don't know if I do. Yeah, I think it's down to the individual circumstances. I think it's
a tough one, isn't it? I mean, you would. I don't know. I think there's a limit. There's definitely a limit. Like you said, that I wouldn't let her, watch me play Manhunt, or I've let her watch me play Gears of War because, like I said before, the content is that I'm shooting at aliens and not human beings. You know, I probably wouldn't let her watch me play Rainbow Six or Ghost Recon because that's just too realistic. You know, I'm not shooting at aliens and spaceships and things like that. So I don't know.
See, I'd like to assume, like, growing up when we played like violent games, like the more violent the better. When you're of a certain age, like, violence is just kind of awesome, right? Because you know that it's kind of part of the fun when you play a game. But can you remember, like, the first time where you saw something in a video game that actually made you like go, okay, this is going a bit too far, kind of thing? Because I can say that the first time I honestly felt old was when I saw the trailer, the release trailer for, I think it was Splinter Cell Conviction, where you're interrogating a dude in a bathroom somewhere, in a public bathroom, and you're literally just like smashing this guy's head through urinals and sinks, and like smashing his head through tiled walls, and it's really fucking graphic. I remember watching it and just being like, this is actually kind of, I don't know, upsetting. I've never felt like that before watching a video game.
It's difficult to pinpoint exactly why it's wrong, isn't it? I mean, GTA is obvious, and it's an obvious candidate, and that's why I think it gets so much media attention. But at the same time, there's a lot to be said for, I don't know.
The thing it was for me is it wasn't kind of hidden, like, it was heavy violence, and it wasn't kind of hidden behind any sort of obscurity. Like, it was almost like when the guy's head was being smashed through the urinal, it was almost like kind of meant to be orgasmic, like with the sub drop sounds and like the slow motion kind of bone crunching sort of. It was just kind of messed up to watch.
There's a scene in it's fairly early on, so I'm sure I can talk about it, where you get the option on how to torture someone in GTA 5, and you can waterboard them. Now, I'm pretty sure that most people would not agree with that. You know, just from the off, you know, you know that people won't like that. They've put it in there because they fed it into the storyline, but each time one of these games comes out, it does push the limits. You know, like The Exorcist had to come first, and now we naturally don't think of it as anything. You know, we think, oh well, that's okay. You know, whatever. It's one of those things.
Did you find you're a little bit unsure how to feel after that scene though, like giving Trevor's speech in the car on the ride to the airport or whatever? But he's just kind of like, torture's not really like, regardless of whether we'd have done it or not, you'd have sold us anything, like torture's for the torturers kind of thing. Almost like they're kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but sort of having a pop.
Oh well, the whole game has a pop at America and American culture for sure. And I think that underneath the funny radio ads talking about how you need your latest iClone or whatever it's called, it really has some deep meaning. You know, the sense of commercialism to the world, and and how do you put that message across? Well, you make a video game as violent as possible because you know more people will buy it. It's true though, isn't it? You know, the games that started out GTA 1 and GTA 2 were top down, made by an English studio, purely English, before it went over to Rockstar Seattle. And these guys, they knew how to make a great game. They knew how to piss people off in the process. And it was a really, really good set of games. Now, come GTA 3, after a successful run of GTA 1, 2, and an expansion pack, GTA London, GTA 3 kind of took the whole open world, and because it was such a marvel, it became incredibly popular, and quite rightly so. But at the same time, I've no doubt in my mind whatsoever that those guys knew what they were doing when they brought that game out, and they knew that they were going to be pushing envelopes. And like Carl was saying earlier with the exorcism, at some point, you know, we're desensitizing ourselves to an extent to think that, well, that's okay because it's in such and such. But certain people will think it's okay. So the question is, do we allow those games to come out? Because there will be people who are desensitized to it. Although the majority, the very, 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 very vast majority won't. Or do we limit it as a society?
Well, you see, it's just about the. I would say it's not just about the violence, but violence in video games is acceptable, and what you don't see in video games is, or not too much of, is drugs and sex. You don't really see that. So it's obvious that people deem violence acceptable in video games. That it's perfectly fine. Otherwise, you'd have drugs and sex in them as well, wouldn't you? People would be. Do you know what I mean? But it's true. It's. I mean, what game? Unless it's, I can't really think of every single game, except obviously if it's a driving game or the genre. It's all about either war or battles or whatever it is, whether it's aliens, humans, whatever it is. And that's what video gaming's become anyway. It's what you want. It's probably why Nintendo, I was
going to say, is that why Nintendo are doing so shit?
That's why, yeah, because Mario doesn't have a gun in his hand. Can you imagine a first-person shooter with Mario in the Mario universe? It'd be awesome. Absolutely fantastic. But, something for Isabella to play and not feel guilty, not make a dad feel guilty. But no, it is. It's what, I mean, Call of Duty, the next bloody Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto, they can be shit games. They'll sell millions, absolutely millions, just based on the reputation alone. Like what a hoo-ha that caused with the what was it, Hot Coffee or whatever it was called.
That's the one, yeah, Hot Coffee.
Yeah, just because. Oh God, that was groundbreaking. Yeah, that was. Everybody wanted to see what that was about.
Really, to be kind of an interesting point, like how like you've got video games where like take God of War for example, where you've got Kratos like ripping someone's head off and like eating it and then shitting it out and then like eating it again and stuff, and you can't even have so much as any kind of really explicit sort of sexual content in a game because people go ape shit over it.
Yeah, I was. See, that's something I've been shocked at a few times when I've just seen, I don't know, just tits about in a game. It's just something you don't usually see. And I remember God of War. I think it was the first one, wasn't it? Where, they have boobies out, and I thought, oh bloody hell, you don't often see that. I remember the first game I ever saw tits in. It was is it Stormlord? I'm sure Stormlord had, I think that it. But there's not too much sex in video games over your Leisure Suit Larrys and your bloody
Bubble Bath Babes.
Yeah.
Other great Tunisian games.
Yeah. What's that shoot 'em up where you shit? It's all shit. What is that? You there's a shoot 'em up game. And it just features, I can't remember the bloody name of it, and you're shooting turds.
It's like Soul Feast, but it's called Soul Feces. No, that's
Soul Feces.
Soul Feces, I like
That's a good name. Yeah.
Is it Don Patchy?
No, it's not Don Patchy. It's it's a shoot 'em up, and you are shooting shit, or you are a piece of shit.
I want to know this game.
It's on PC Engine or something. And you were, I think, what are you? There's like toilet rolls coming down as well as enemies, and I'm positive.
It's not. Oh God.
Do you know what I mean?
Explosion Aid.
I have no idea what it's called.
Explosion Aid's an indie. I'm just Googled it. Explosion Aid's an
Has
indie
it also
game.
got lots of slightly homoerotic references in it as well?
Oh, I don't think it's an indie game. I think it's an actual proper game. It's like a Japanese one.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Has it got quite a lot of naked men in it?
It might do, yeah. Is it gay?
It might have come out on, well, kind of. It's very humorous, homoerotic humour. It come out on a network. I can't think of the fucking name of it.
I don't know why we're talking about this.
No.
It's one of those games that. Well, it's one of those games that pushes the extremes, like that. But yeah, there was that one as well. But there has been some quirky stuff out there. I remember playing on Sam Fox Extreme Poker. I remember playing that. And I'm pretty sure.
Sam Fox Extreme Poker.
Sam Fox Poker or Strip Poker, Extreme Strip Poker, or something like that.
Jesus Christ!
And you used to if you win a hand, you used to reveal a piece of this picture. So like a piece would uncover if you winning. I'm pretty sure that the end picture, I'm not too sure whether she was topless or whether she was wearing something, and it might have been just a little bit revealing. I can't quite remember. Shit game, anyway.
So many porno games.
Oh, it has, hasn't it? Like Japanese schoolgirl ones, isn't it?
Just really crappy softcore.
Carl sounds dead excited.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've got my tissues ready. No, but there is.
So what's everyone's favourite violent video game then?
You can go first, Tom.
Yeah, go on.
Well, okay,
got one in mind.
I guess every video game has an aspect of violence Like, okay, maybe a game where like violence is the main aspect of the game.
But, you know, funnily enough, I would have to say the GTA series. I do really enjoy playing them.
Mm.
You know, the funny thing is, I've never completed a GTA. I get to a certain point and I'm like, I can't be bothered.
Oh shit.
It's quite interesting. I think the furthest I've got is actually GTA 5, to be honest, as well.
Yeah. I'm just playing through it again now.
I know. Go on, Carl.
No, I've never been a fan of GTA games really, just because I like. I've not forgot the question, by the way. I've got an answer, but no, I don't. I'm a bit linear. I like a clear path, start and end to the level kind of thing. I don't just want to go anywhere. I just can't get into those kind of games. Even stuff like Spider-Man, you know, on the GameCube, when I had that, you know, you can just go around the city and pick up missions. Can't be doing that. I like clear goals in games.
You do have a mission list in GTA.
Oh, yeah, but walk and trying to find it. I just want to do level 1 and then go to level 2. Maybe that's the old school in me.
Yeah,
I don't know. But no, favourite violent. The one series that I really, really like is Ninja Gaiden, which I wouldn't say. Well, it is violent, but it's not like graphically violent. You know, where it's like limbs and all this business. But no, I think Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden. How do you say that? It's all.
I think it's Gaiden.
Is it Gaiden?
I think so, yeah. You know, I've never actually played a single Ninja Gaiden past 3. A new one's particularly violent.
Well, I mentioned this the other day on one video, but I finished every single one from the Xbox onwards.
Oh.
So I'm kind of different to you though, where they're super tough as well. I mean, they are a challenge. They're a real challenge, especially Ninja Gaiden Black. I mean,
yeah.
Ninja Gaiden that came out on Xbox, and that was already tough as nails to do. So I don't know why they thought, hold on a minute, let's bring out another one. Let's bring out a more difficult one, Ninja Gaiden Black. So they did do, but every single one of them, I just love them. But it's hack and slash, isn't it? It's like repetitive gameplay for a lot of people, but. You know, you could say that about the millions of people that play World of Warcraft. It's the same.
Oh, it is. It's very repetitive, yeah.
But you know, when you mention hack and slash, everyone's like, "Oh God, yeah." I don't like the Dynasty Warriors games. And for some reason, I don't know. I can't get into them. I don't know why they've been so successful and done so many of them. I don't get it. I'm not particularly looking forward to the Hyrule Warriors, if I'm honest. I'm not going to buy it just because it's got Link in it, but I'm not excited about that. But that's a different topic.
Yeah.
So what's your most violent series? Oh, you've said Grand Theft Auto, haven't you?
Yeah, but do you know what? It's probably not. I quite like Manhunt. I know people are going to think I quite liked the inventive ways in which you could kill people. I used to like playing Kingpin a lot on the PC as well. And I suppose to a certain extent, even like the fighters, I suppose, are violent, aren't they? I did used to like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter back in the day. I'm not going to lie and
that was a game that got banned, wasn't it? Thrill Kill. Do you remember that on PS1?
The Wu-Tang, yeah.
Yeah, that got banned, didn't it? Just because I remember getting that on a copy. Obviously everyone had a copy PS1, a chip PS1, didn't they? But I remember having that one, and all I can remember about it is maybe was there a character with like a wheelchair in like a padded cell or something like that. I'm sure there was the like padded cells, and it would just bloody. All it was loaded. I think, wasn't it? Was it like loaded, or was it a 2D? Was it a 2D fighter?
Loaded was like a top-down alien breed style shooter.
Yeah,
like
that's
Chaos Theory kind of, or Chaos Engine was I can't remember.
But much more hectic.
Yeah.
Was Thrill Kill not like that? Or was it a 2D fighter? I
No,
can't
it was a
remember.
2D fighter, mate.
Was it?
Yeah,
Right.
I think, yeah.
Right. I think I'm getting them both mixed up, but yeah, Thrill Kill, that got banned. Why? What was... Because that came out after Resident Evil, didn't it? It came out after Silent Hill. You know, and surely them games were far more violent.
It was probably down to like kind of the specific methods of violence. I think that's what kind of bothers people, sort of how the violence is kind of conducted.
Right.
Like it's one thing to like fire a shotgun at a zombie and blow its head off and brains to spray everywhere. It's another thing to like take a guy's head and like stab things through his eyes and then like twist his head off and with his spine still attached, and it's like
true.
It's a lot more kind of
just another Friday night, Tom.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot more. I can't think of the word, like kind of a malicious, like a malice to the violence, I think.
It's much more detailed.
Yeah, for sure. See, I've got a thing about like kind of with gore and stuff. I don't really like gory movies at all, but it doesn't bother me in games.
It's funny that I'm exactly the same. Yeah, I don't really watch. I remember the last movie that I watched. I thought, oh god, the gory movie. I thought, oh, that's a bit. I can't be doing with that. Was that Saw? You know, when you first ever saw Saw. And
we did all of it in a week. We watched all the Saw films in 1 week, like back to back, one a night sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that was kind of interesting, actually.
Wow.
Because they do follow on, don't they? Each one.
Each one has like
slightly
goes back to the previous ones, and then it follows on, and yada yada yada. It's an interesting series, I'll say that for it.
Has anybody ever played any of the Suffering games?
Yes.
I was just playing the Suffering 2 on Xbox original like last week. That game's fucking brutal in places. Really, really dark.
Yeah, is that not the one where I'm sure I played it because I always remember the Suffering and Psyops. I'm sure they both came out about the same time. I know Psyops is not this totally different game, but Suffering, is that the one where? Oh, is that the one? Was like a reference of sucking cock or something at the start?
Was that the first one or the second one?
It's not ties that bind. I think it's just the Suffering. Yeah, because you're in the prison cells, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I'm sure there's something to do with. In fact, that quite surprised me. Fingers were on it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a reference to something like sucking cock or something like that.
Oh, there's some really dark things in that game. But again, it's the thing.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that game actually. Yeah, I forgot about that. There's other stuff, isn't there, like Fahrenheit? But Fahrenheit's a game where the story requires it, where it's not just violent for the sake of being violent. It's
right.
That's the story, isn't it?
Not like fucking Postal or something like that. Where it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Yeah, Postal attracted a lot of attention as well, a lot of media attention. And then the second one came out, and nobody really cared. Or at least that I seem to get from it. People just, it's been done now. Same game, more or less, but nobody was really that bothered by it the second time around. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Well, it's the same with Carmageddon. When Carmageddon came out, there was a whole hoo-ha of that because your mission is to kill people and drive them over, isn't it?
Yeah, it got banned.
Yeah.
It got the people changed to zombies, and then in Germany the zombies got changed to dinosaurs.
No way.
Really?
I shit you not. Check it out, man.
Carmageddon with dinosaurs.
Zombies were too violent for Germany.
Unfortunately, Chris, you're not be able to let Nathan play that because he doesn't want to be driving over dinosaurs now, does he?
That's all right. I don't want him talking German anyway, so it's fine.
No, there's tons of it. It's like that was a driving game, but they put some violence in it. Try to. Can't remember what other games they try to jazz up where to make them a little bit more violent. I mean,
do you think it kind of deliberately make games that are sort of overly violent for the sake of it, try and be edgy and increase sales? I mean, it's going to attract media attention, which again is going to boost the sales, but at the same time, is it then kind of derailing that whole argument of our video games like considered art or sort of high art the same way kind of literature and books are? Is it damaging that? Because obviously when the media run these kind of frantic fear-mongering sort of like kind of sensationalist stories about how like, oh, this guy killed a shit ton of people and he liked to play Call of Duty or he liked to play Grand Theft Auto. Like you say, it doesn't matter about the fact that the guy was complete and utter nutcase. And obviously nobody was watching him or no one was caring for him because he felt the need to go out and do something like this. Do these violent games kind of damage that whole argument? Because people who don't play games like jump on these stories and immediately think like, oh, video games are fucking retarded. Like, I don't want my kids to play them, or I don't think people should play them. They're a waste of time. Hence, they'll never be kind of regarded in the same way movies and books will.
Yeah, and you said it right there. That the people that will jump on them is the people that don't play games.
Exactly, they know nothing about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Generally, like sort of MPs or sort of. I mean, who was the guy in America that got He eventually I forget the word, but he was Jack Thompson.
Yes.
Oh God, that guy. He got disbarred eventually, I think. But that guy would jump on pretty much any friggin' thing he could. I think he even tried to jump on the game Bully for like a homosexual kiss that happened somewhere in the game.
He's people don't listen to him anymore, thankfully.
Oh.
But over here, the Alan Titmarch on his daytime TV show tried to destroy video games. Or he brought up the subject and he was very biased. He didn't give both sides. That guy from PC Gamer or another like leading thing there. And the guy, as much as he was trying to defend video games, he just wasn't allowed an edge in edgeways. So he kind of just got missed off, and
But to be fair, the other guy would have made his mind up, wouldn't he? I mean, the guy is not gonna sit there and try and defend video games, and then is it Alan Titchmarsh? You say he's not gonna say actually, you're absolutely right. But Alan Titchmarsh, he won't play any kind of video game unless it was violent fucking flowers or something, now, would he?
What the fuck does Alan Titchmarsh know about video games?
I know, it's a topic that he's got him on his show and he knows absolutely nothing about it. I love it, those shows, when they always say, oh, you're bringing out a book. Now, I've read this book. No, you bloody haven't. You always say that. I've just been reading this book. What a rubbish.
I got the cliff notes on the way into the studio and memorized some of them.
Yeah, I've just been playing Grand Theft Auto, and it's very, very violent. No, you've not just been playing it at all. It's absolute bollocks. No, but I don't know. The way of the world, isn't it? And video game, and that's the other thing as well with the PS4 and the Xbox One now. They're only going to get even more graphic.
Oh, of course.
They're going to get more realistic, more graphic.
What's the next God of War going to be like? He's going to like rip someone's eyeball out, like eat it, shit it out, eat it again, shit it out.
It's going to pull off someone's cock, slap it around, and then kill him to death with it.
Hey, that happens. It's in Saints Row. You can swing your cock about.
Oh yeah, but it's a dildo. It's not a real cock.
No, but see, Saints Row, there's another one, isn't there? But that takes the comedic view on it, doesn't it, rather than the serious one?
Yes.
I wonder why that is. I wonder why they've done that.
Oh, because it's easier to get the game out like that, Again, another GTA-style game,
And it's like that with dildos smacking them around. I mean, adults who buy that game, that's just like, it's funny for a minute, but, kids play that, they love that kind of stuff, don't they? They'll be swinging the cock around for ages. and laughing about it. They will
But
once.
it's pretty funny when you're like 13, 14.
Exactly, that's the thing, you see. But yeah, it's going to be what, an 18 game or whatever it is.
For sure.
So, you know, age rating, the age rate. Plus, they're all PEGI now, aren't they? They're all PEGI.
13.
Yeah, they're not like BBFC. What is it? BBCFC? Whatever. What do you call it? The proper bloody rating.
BBFC, the British Broadcasting.
Yeah,
Charles.
they're not that anymore, and that's why they're not that anymore, are they? Because the PEGI ratings are a bit dumbed down, aren't they?
I don't think that. I think there was film didn't necessarily want to be cast in the same light as games. So again, a bit of snobbery.
Ah, see, right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's you know, film had to be battle hard to become part of the arts, and before that, music did, I'm sure, and before that, there wasn't one because it was just a bunch of paintings, and people thought that they were worth something, but they're not. But it's all if people could separate reality from stuff, it would be fine. But there are people who can't, and there are people who get obsessed. You know, there are some people who do get obsessed with it, I suppose, is the right way of putting it. There is. I mean, has there ever been any direct links from a video game to a murder or some sort of, you know, act like that? The Columbine thing was very sketchy in that he was making maps of his school, Doom. And there have been people who have claimed it was video games.
I'm on about actual proof that, you know, this was because of this video game.
I don't suppose you ever can prove that, can you?
Well, yeah, if the perpetrators admitted it, that, yeah, I've done this because, I mean, is there anything that has said, you know, some murderer said, yeah, I did it because I was influenced by Call of Duty, or whatever, Grand Theft Auto? I don't think there is.
People have said that, but either it's true or not, or they're just trying to get media. Difficult to say.
I honestly think it's just a spin, because whenever something like this happens, everybody needs something to blame.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it happens with bands and stuff as well. You know, what was around before video games? Like, I mean, Jesus Christ! Like, they were warning parents about the evils of playing Dungeons and Dragons, like tabletop RPGs. Like, there was the story of like the kid that like fucking, I don't know, went and lived in the sewer and killed his sister or something, and because he played Dungeons and Dragons. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, and before that, it was music. You know.
Well, we all know how evil those musicians are.
Oh yeah.
You play a Black Sabbath tape backwards and you'll hear the devil talking to you. A load of old cobblers.
If you like that old fucking Bill Hicks joke, if you sit around playing those records backwards, you are the fucking devil.
I like that too.
I know nothing about that. What's that all about then? If you play somebody's record backwards, you can...
there was a case against Judas Priest, a heavy metal band in the States. Where,
so retarded.
This person claimed that they were putting hidden messages to kill if you played the record backwards. So you could play the record backwards, and what they then did in the trial was they showed that if you played I think it was like a Marvin Gaye album backwards, you heard him say cauliflower cheese or something like that, something else ludicrous, so that realistically these things, it was a pure blind coincidence.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Somebody else is trying to make a quick buck.
Who the hell finds this stuff out though? I mean, who thinks, right, let's... I'll put that album on, that Judas Priest one, but I'll tell you what we're going to do this time. We're going to play it backwards. Who finds that out? Who does this stuff?
Someone who doesn't want to pay it forwards, the heathens. We've maybe got, say, 5-10 minutes left, so 8 minutes. So let's carry on the conversation. So, I mean, closing statements here before we go to what we've been doing recently. What do you think, if anything, should be done with violent video games at the moment?
Did you ask Tom then? Sorry. Personally, like we said at the start of the show, it was it's at your parents' discretion. Not like your parents' discretion, it's at the parents' discretion, I should say. Just because there's nobody knows your child like you do. But then again, you know, if you're talking to other mums and dads and you get on the subject of it and I say, oh, Isabella plays Grand Theft Auto, I think that every other parent would be like, what? What is
Sharp
that?
intake of breath.
Exactly. But, you know, it might be too much for their child or whatever. You know, I just can't... There's no right answer for it. I just know what kind of game, you know, I will let her play. You know, it's only the same as if she were playing Burnout. You know, it's not acceptable to get in a car and crash it. You don't want to do things like that. But it's just a fun game. It's just all about the fun. You know, you can just you can pick holes at most games and say, well, that's not really right for a child to play. But really, it's not really. You know, I don't imagine it being embedded in her brain that she's going to do something particularly bad over it. But it's dependent on the game. Like I said, if she were playing Fahrenheit, the story is that, you know, somebody gets murdered, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I wouldn't let her... That's something that she doesn't know that goes on in the world. So, for me, you know, I don't know. It's just...
discretionary.
It really, yeah. It's common sense, discretionary, yeah. So the individual, yeah, definitely. That's my view.
What about you, Tom?
I think, like you say, a lot of it is down to kind of, it is the parents' discretion. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got like kind of an angry kid who likes blowing up frogs in buckets with firecrackers and throwing chairs through windows, maybe don't let him sit and play Grand Theft Auto for 8 hours a day. But at the same time, you know, you can't always control what someone will do. I mean, it can happen to to an adult, you know, like kind of a grown man could snap any day and, you know, he could go out and do something terrible. And, you know, they're going to blame it on video games. But, you know, if you take the violence out of video games, look at TV. I mean, I was downstairs the other day, like, I put on the TV and, like, there was some crime drama thing on. So I watched, like, 5 minutes of it. Literally, like... You know, you kind of get like the setup at the start of the episode as to what's going to happen for the rest of it. And these dudes break in this like bird's house and like they kind of beat her half to death and then like take it in turns raping her and like leave her there kind of sort of beaten and shit and just leave the house laughing. And it's like that was really distressing to watch. It's like I really wish I hadn't watched that. But then I flicked on the next channel and it's like somebody else like breaking into somebody's house and like beating them half to death. And it's like, well, that's TV. You know, like, violence is everywhere.
Yeah,
it's just
definitely.
one of those things, like, you can't blame video games. Why don't you blame TV for a change?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that all games have their place. Whether they're right or wrong or whatever, it's neither here nor there. I think everybody should just enjoy it, really, and just take it for what it is. It's a game. You know, it's art. It's not imitating life. It's out there and bizarre, you know. People don't do this kind of shit, so don't imitate it, you know. Don't imitate art, I suppose, is the ultimate thing there. don't imitate art. Yeah, I quite like that. Video games don't imitate art.
There you go.
That works for me. Right, so just to finish off, really, we've got about 3 minutes. Tom, what have you been doing and what have you been playing? What you picked up, what you played?
Oh God, I've pretty much been playing nothing but Pokemon.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Solid.
Brilliant game.
Which
Solid.
one? X, Y?
Actually, Yellow. I've gone way back.
Gone way back, son.
I'm way back. Actually, this weekend it's been good. It took me all fucking day. Well, I say all day. It took me about 12 hours, but I've unpacked everything in my collection. It's out. It's set up. It's awesome. It's no longer sitting in boxes in a dank garage somewhere, so I'm real pleased about that.
Well, when I got that snitch, I'll be bringing my video camera to get that bad boy on film.
Fucking A. So, yeah, for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be playing lots of stuff. It's real good.
Good, man, good. And what about you, Carl? What have you been playing? What you picked up?
Picked up Wise. I picked up Ninja Gaiden on the Vita recently. So I started that. But what I've been playing the most, I guess, recently is Zelda HD on the Wii U. Funny thing is, I had it on the GameCube many times. I never bothered playing it. But it's on this is the stupid thing, because I've got it on the Wii U. And it's like a new console. Yeah, because you play it, don't you? And it's so weird why people do that. But 90 seconds. I've just done a. You go, Chris. You go. It's your turn.
Well,
wrap it up, Chris.
I've just done a trade with Retro Nexus, aka Jason, aka the Wiltshire Gamer. For a couple of GBA games and a couple of Xbox Original Games. But you'll have to tune into my channel, Chris Heaney84 on YouTube. There's also Brahilia on YouTube, and of course Within37.
I just want to give a quick shout out to G Wario.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Fucking tragic, man. Rest in peace, dude.
Rest in peace, indeed. Yeah.
Thoughts and everything like that out with his family at the minute. Just very, very, very sad. But I think that's just about it, guys. So from all of us here at the Retro Renaissance podcast, we'd like to say thanks very much for tuning in, and keep playing those violent video games.
Yeah.